When you think of a soldier's weapon, what comes to mind? Rifles, pistols, grenades, tools made to destroy. But there was another weapon on every battlefield, one that wasn't designed to kill, but to keep men alive. From the frozen trenches of World War I to the steaming jungles of Vietnam, soldiers carried a simple steel shovel, the entrenching tool, or E-tool. It didn't fire bullets or explode, yet it often decided who lived through the night. While rifles jammed, bayonets bent, and ammunition ran out, this small foldable shovel kept working. It dug trenches for cover, carved out foxholes in mud, and cleared brush for camps. It was silent, compact, and reliable, qualities far more valuable than glory on a battlefield. Many soldiers said, "My shovel saved my life more than my gun ever did." Because when artillery began to fall, and nowhere felt safe, survival often came down to how fast you could dig. The entrenching tool was born in the early 1900s, a time when warfare was transforming. Gone were the days of neat lines and open charges. The invention of machine guns and long-range artillery turned open ground into a death trap. Cover became the new armor. Commanders realized that a soldier who could dig could live. So militaries across Europe began issuing small, personal spades to every infantryman. These early tools were simple wooden-handled shovels, but they marked the start of a survival revolution. By World War I, conditions in the trenches were unbearable. Mud, cold, and constant shelling. The German army led the way in redesigning the entrenching tool. They created a foldable, steel-bladed version that could lock at different angles, with one side sharpened into an edge. This innovation turned the shovel into a multi-purpose tool, one that could dig, chop, hammer, or even defend in hand-to-hand combat. The British and American armies followed quickly, realizing this wasn't just a digging tool, it was a lifeline. When your life depended on seconds, being able to dig faster or defend yourself silently meant everything. In the night raids of World War I, silence was survival. Soldiers crept through enemy trenches with bayonets, knives, and sometimes sharpened E-tools. Veterans recalled grinding one edge of their shovel until it could slice through a uniform. In close combat, a rifle was too long, too slow, but an E-tool, swung with both hands, could strike fast and hard, breaking bone, knocking out enemies, or clearing a path. It was brutal, yes, but in the darkness of trench warfare, it was also practical. When every ounce of noise could mean death, a shovel became both shield and sword. Yet the real strength of the E-tool wasn't just in fighting. It was in what it allowed soldiers to do afterward. In the rain-soaked fields of Europe, soldiers dug trenches to stay dry. In the deserts of North Africa, they used it to anchor tents against the wind. In the jungles of the Pacific, they cleared paths, carved drainage ditches, and built makeshift cooking pits. It became a hammer for tent stakes, a saw for wood, even a cooking surface for heating rations over a fire. No matter the terrain, mud, snow, sand, or jungle, the E-tool adapted. It wasn't glamorous, but it was reliable. And in war, reliability is survival. By World War II, the E-tool had evolved into something remarkable. The U.S. Army introduced the M1943 model, made of hardened steel with a locking hinge that could fold at 90 degrees. That simple feature changed everything. Soldiers could now dig faster, chop with more leverage, and carry it more compactly on their belt. It became standard issue across Allied forces. In North Africa, troops used it to build shelters in the sand. In Europe, it dug trenches to survive incoming shells. And in the Pacific, pilots even carried miniature versions in their survival kits, knowing that if they crashed behind enemy lines, it could mean the difference between life and death. Here's what's most astonishing. Since the 1940s, the basic design of the E-tool hasn't really changed. Why? Because it doesn't need to. Even today, soldiers in modern armies, from the US to Russia to China, still carry a version of the same folding shovel. It's one of the few tools that has survived over a century of technological evolution almost unchanged. That's the ultimate proof of its value. Simple, effective, and nearly indestructible. Today, the entrenching tool has moved from battlefields to backpacks. Survivalists, hikers, and campers swear by it. A good E-tool can dig fire pits, bury waste, split kindling, and even act as a defensive tool in emergencies. In off-grid gardening, it's used for trenching irrigation lines or mixing compost. Preppers often include it in their bug-out bags because it replaces half a toolbox in one compact design. If you're choosing one today, look for a model with a locking hinge and a serrated edge. Keep it sharp, keep it clean, and it will outlast almost any other tool you own. But beyond its physical use, the E-tool represents something far deeper. It symbolizes resourcefulness, adaptability, and resilience. In war, when technology failed, when radios went silent, guns jammed, and hope ran thin, soldiers still had this one dependable companion. It reminded them that survival doesn't come from complexity. It comes from creativity, from doing more with less. That's what makes the entrenching tool more than metal. It's a mindset forged in hardship. Even today, historians and collectors find E-tools from World War II still intact, still usable. They're relics of an age where strength meant ingenuity, not aggression. The greatest weapon wasn't a rifle, it was a shovel, a tool that could dig a trench, build a shelter, and protect its owner, quietly, faithfully, and without fail. If you believe history's greatest lessons come from simplicity and grit, then the entrenching tool might just be the truest symbol of survival ever made. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of forgotten history.